I went to Germantown Friends School, and they had a very strong cultural program in conjunction with the school, and a very strong art program, and my parents were always very supportive of that. Also, my grandmother was my father's mother was very supportive of cultural activities, and she lived near New York City, and we would go every year to New York City and to Radio City Music Hall and things of that nature. So it was an important part of things that we did together. I can remember even starting in preschool and also in kindergarten, doing a lot of drawing at that point, and then of course the family was supportive of that, and they would post the drawings and collect the drawings, and so it was fun. It was from the very beginning something that I remember spending a lot of time doing. I applied to a variety of schools and colleges, but every time I went for an interview, I would ask about the art program, and they would say, well, maybe you should consider an art school. And so although I applied to 4 or 5 places, by the time I interviewed at the 4th place, even though it was well received, I thought maybe this is something I should pursue and investigate. So I checked with the art teacher at school. She recommended more. I applied to more. It was the only art school that I applied to, actually, and was accepted, and here I am. The first day of orientation, I came with my father, and the dean, at that time, the dean was a man, and the president was a man. And they were speaking to the incoming first-year students, and I turned to my father and I said, so where are the men? And it was not clear in those days. In the brochures and the information, it was not something that was celebrated. Anyway, I came as a student, and even though that first day it was a surprise, it was one of the best experiences I ever had, which is another reason why I'm committed to the mission of this institution and to the institution, and why I never took a job at another institution. Not only because of what they provided for me in terms of an education and commitment and work ethic and all of that, but the women here truly are those that are the student government. It is the women that are winning the fellowships. It is all of that. And it's a training ground, again, for networking and support of one another as we move through life. And so whatever I felt the first day radically changed by the time I graduated. Between my junior and senior year in art education, I traveled to Mexico with a friend, and we studied at San Miguel Allende in Guanajuato, Mexico, and we took some courses, and I took a course in batik, and I took a course in weaving, and I knew at that point that that was the material and the kind of techniques that I wanted to work with. I actually applied for graduate school before I finished my senior year, and I got accepted at Tyler School of Art / Temple University for a master's in art education. And I started graduate school that summer when I graduated and started doing some of the graduate level studio work. And then I had also applied to work in the Philadelphia School District, and I was assigned to a junior high school starting in the fall. So I started graduate work, taught in the Philadelphia School District, and went to graduate school at night. I was given a lot of freedom, fortunately, by the vice principals. And so what I would do is take gang members who were in the school, and this was a junior high school, but we had 14, 15, and sometimes 16-year-old students in the junior high school. And I identified some key students that I had who were rivals. And I got permission to do murals in the bathroom. So I got the rival students working together and doing murals in the bathroom, and it worked out really well. They were very protective of the murals they painted. They were very protective of students going in there and making sure it was not wrecked between classes. So it was wonderful. I had a great time. I taught in the art education department for 4 years. And then by that time I completed both graduate degrees, and I started applying for jobs teaching textiles or textile design around the country. And an opening occurred in the textile design department here, and I applied for it. I got the job, and so I switched departments at that point and started teaching in the textile design department. I use thread and fiber and those techniques as a vehicle for personal expression. They give me the latitude that I need to deal with personal issues. And for the most part, the work that I do is really a kind of document for me that records experience. Some of the newer work utilizes wax and encaustics. A lot of the constructions with handmade paper and fiber and horsehair and things that I've used in the past, I still use. But in fact, I either photograph them and transfer some of that imagery into the encaustics and the wax, but it still all comes from the same place. And I tend to work in series that surround some sort of emotion or some sort of impact in my life, or people or place, or sometimes landscape as well. I had some wonderful women as role models, and what I learned from them and from the education that I received here, I think really has to do a great deal with who I am as an artist in terms of a commitment and a work ethic, and also patience. I think not only patience in the classroom, but I think also patience in the studio. Patience and a belief that it's going to come. It will come, even if it doesn't seem like it's going to come, either in a new direction or through the production of the work, or being able to move here, move there, with a certain kind of confidence. And I think I learned that from some of the women that I worked with. And hopefully I can pass that on to the students that I have. There are women who have graduated from this institution who will have a lifelong commitment to making work, their work as artists and designers, and who will also feel that there were women that touched their lives at this institution and continue to encourage the role of art in everyone's lives.